Chic condominium at Cavalon, one of Phuket's most exclusive addresses. Luxury at an international scale, just moments from Cavalon Beach. Go to chiccondocavalon.com.
Hello and welcome to Phuket News TV. Something a little bit different today. Now, of course, here in Phuket we do have James Bond Island, which is a favourite for the tourists as they pop out into Phang Nga Bay. But a little bit of a link to James Bond. You might remember the film You Only Live Twice. It was the third James Bond film and it introduced the gyrocopter to the world. Well, this is a little bit different, but this is indeed an auto-gyro. Let's check out Little Nelly from the James Bond film. Yep, that was Little Nelly, big fight there in one of the 007 films. But the auto-gyro has come a long way, and we're going to be going flying with the pilot, Tim Morrell. Thanks for joining us, Tim, and I think you've got the dream job.
Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it is.
Travelling around the world, teaching people all about these amazing machines.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I have to ask you first, for the people that maybe don't understand what a gyro, an auto-gyro is, how does this differ from a helicopter? It sort of looks a bit like a helicopter, but then again, it acts more like a plane.
Exactly. I mean, auto-gyro, you could simply say that it's a mix between a helicopter and an airplane. On the ground, during the rollout and the takeoff, it acts more like an airplane. But in the sky, we're using the positive things of a helicopter. It's a rotor aircraft. It has very stable capabilities, and when you're flying, it's just amazing. I mean, you're stable there. The turbulence that you most often is experiencing in a small airplane, light airplane, can be quite rough. Yeah, but in the helicopter, you're very stable. And it's as well, when you compare it to a helicopter, it's much cheaper. We're not using any engine power to spin the rotor. It's always on the auto rotation principle.
Auto rotation, how does that work?
Auto rotation is if you see a helicopter from the side, it's powered by an engine. It sucks the air from above when it's flying. But here, the air is coming from underneath, pushing the rotor and makes it continue rotating. Yeah, so it's like a leaf from a tree. It's going to be rotating on the way down, and that's the same principle.
So, worst case scenario, engine stops. You're 1,000 feet up in the air. What happens? You'll have
approximately 30 seconds. You just put the nose down to keep your speed, your forward speed, and it's still fully controlled. Of course, you cannot go up, but you'll have a steady flight and descent down towards the ground. You just look out for a good spot to do an emergency landing. If you have time, you'll try to restart the engine. Otherwise, just prepare for a landing.
Okay, so same as a fixed-wing aircraft. As long as you keep the motion going forward, the rotors will keep on going around.
Yeah. Exactly, and I mean, always when you're flying, that's the job of a pilot. You should fly so that you can make an emergency landing.
Now, this Cavalon, it looks so much more advanced than the old gyros in the past. What is the key difference between this and, say, the gyros 30 years ago?
I mean, the main auto-gyro is the same. It's the engine is powering you forward, and the rotor is giving you the lift. Otherwise, it's a design, and also, I mean, they made them much more safer. The engines are much more safer, reliable. But otherwise, it's the same.
It clearly looks to me like there's a lot more thought to the details, and also the engineering just looks really spot on.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's made in Germany. What can I say? They do wonderful things, and they know how to keep the weight down. We're today using a lot of carbon fiber materials, which keeps the weight down and makes a really strong structure.
Now, I've done a bit of fixed wing flying, but for the people who don't know anything about flying and would like to learn how to fly a gyro, how many hours are they going to have to spend to learn?
It's hard to say. I mean, everybody needs a different type. If you have done sailing, for example, that will be a positive thing. I mean, you know how to read the winds, and so all these things will make a positive thing for the flying training later on. But normally it's about 45 hours, you say. And the best thing to do is that you go ahead, you do first your ground theory, and then you do 2-3 intensive weeks of training. Then you let it sink into the body a little bit, and then you continue again. But like when I'm traveling, it's most of the time I go there for a month. I stay there for a month, fly intensively, and hopefully he will be ready to go by himself when I'm done with him. Otherwise, I come back also. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you'd like to do that,
definitely,
yeah.
Definitely.
Tim, great to meet you, and best wishes with the Cavalon.
Yeah, thank you, and welcome. We're going to have a nice flight up in the sky.
Come fly with me, let's fly away.
We're now speaking to Torben, who actually owns this amazing Cavalon auto-gyro. Torben, why did you buy this?
Several reasons. For fun. It started with fun, but later on it came like, when I learned more about the gyro, I think it was amazing. This rotor blade running without any powered engine. So we looked into that, and honestly, I sold my 70-footer boat a couple of years ago, and I needed some excitement. So by coincidence, I stepped over a brochure in Naihan and said, "Oh, what is that?" And then I started looking into that, got in contact with Germany, later on with a Danish dealer, as I'm Danish, got in contact with Tim Morel, ordered one, together with Convest, spent 7 months to get all the licenses and all this DCA stuff.
What do you find is the unique thing that you really like about the Cavalon, as distinct from flying in a helicopter or a fixed-wing plane?
I think it's very stable. I feel very safe. I'm a baby in this industry, but when I see some of what Tim is calling PR flying up there, it's just amazing. My heart is taking when I'm coming down, and it's growing every day.
Is there a business angle to this? I mean, perhaps setting up some sort of agency in Thailand? I believe this is the first in Thailand.
I actually did the deal with the factory. If I brought in the first one to Thailand, I wanted the exclusivity for Thailand.
Well done.
And I got that. At the first, not to sell planes, but more to protect the gyro market, that we get, without being snobbish, the right kind of people into this, experienced pilots, not too many accidents and all that stuff. So right now we're starting with the Cavalon. We have maybe a MTO coming in soon. Our dream is to start a gyro school here in this area, so we can get more gyros and more pilots into this area, and then we'll just take it from there.
And one thing you're going to need to own a plane like this is a few baht. How many baht would you need?
For a Cavalon, which are the top model, you will need around 6.5 million baht landed price, everything included. And you are coming down from the MTU around 4.5. So 4.5 to 6.5.
And the difference between, this is the top model here?
This is the top model side by side. The MTO is an open version, a tandem version. This is turbo engine, but you can get it with the 912 Rotax as well.
It's a beautiful piece of machinery. Thank you for taking the effort of bringing it to Thailand. Good luck with the Cavalon.
Thank you, Tim.
Well, what can I say? It's been a fantastic experience to fly in the Cavalon. This is the first in Thailand. And it's a whole new generation and almost a reinvention of the auto-gyro. Whatever you might have thought about gyrocopters in the past, this is very, very different. And a credit to the designers, a credit to the engineers to come up with a fantastic piece of engineering like this. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Big thanks to Tim, Torben, Best and Abel for making this possible. And it's been a very interesting report. from the ground and the air here on Phuket News TV.
Pack up, let's fly away.